Congresswoman Blackburn, it's such an honor to be here today, and what a great reason to be here. It's very exciting what's happening in Washington, D.C., especially with regards to our relationship to Israel and the move of the U.S. Embassy. And I understand that you had something to do.
A little bit of a part in that. Of course, we had the Jerusalem Embassy Act of 1995, which put in place the opportunity to move the embassy from Tel Aviv over to Jerusalem. And every country has their U.S. embassy presence in the capital city. The one exception has been Israel, where it was not in Jerusalem, it was over in Tel Aviv. And this is one of the things that I thought we needed to correct this. And your viewers all know that since June 7th of 67, that Jerusalem has been declared the capital and recognized as the capital. So we needed to come in line with that recognition. So in the 114th and again in this Congress, the 115th, I had filed the resolution, which is a sense of Congress concurrent resolution that we support abiding by the Act of 1995 and moving that embassy. So I've continued to talk about this. It's something I felt like needed to be done, that we needed to have a bill. And about 3 years ago had said, you know, we need to do more than just write letters or once a year give speeches. We needed to do something that would be a piece of legislation that people could rally around. And of course there was tremendous support for it, and from our Jewish constituents and that community, AIPAC and the other organizations, were so supportive of the concept of making that embassy move. So we continued to push it and to talk about it. And Vice President Pence is someone who during his time in Congress was very supportive of moving that embassy. So we felt like if this was a time where we could elevate that discussion, that the 115th Congress would be the time to do that. So I saw that as an opening to push it again, and was absolutely delighted when the President made his decision to do it by executive order, since the Jerusalem Embassy Act was in standing. And so we ended up just being very pleased that the executive order was very similar to House Concurrent Resolution 11, which was the language that I'd filed.
That's wonderful. It's very exciting. Exciting to have a president that would actually, because there's been many presidents since 1995 that had the opportunity to enact this and didn't. But it took President Trump, who came in and saw the importance of affirming what was already codified in law and enforcing that.
Right, and I think the word there is affirming, is that he agreed with it. And President Trump is a man of action, as is Vice President Pence. And if you make a decision, then you take an action on that decision. And that is what they chose to do in recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and seating our embassy in Jerusalem, which is the capital of Israel. And it was a pleasure to watch how quickly they moved forward with that. And of course now the change is ready to take place.
So what are you hearing from the American people? I mean, this is an exciting, it is exciting to see that we have this president who is enacting this. I mean, it kind of was a shock. I think a lot of us were like, oh my gosh, is this really going to happen? What are you hearing from the American people?
What I hear from constituents is this is such the right thing to do. And interestingly enough, many of my friends from church will say, it never even dawned on me that the embassy would not be in Jerusalem. And they were so surprised, Israel, who is such an ally of ours, and that they would be the one country who would not have that presence with the seat of government.
Right.
So they were surprised by that.
You know, it's amazing. We live in a very strategic, a biblically strategic time, and we're fulfilling some of the most important prophetic issues that there were generations before us that hoped to see, and we're witnessing that. Why is it important to you, as a woman of faith, as a leader, whom God has obviously raised up for such a time as this, like an Esther? Why is this so important to you?
Well, you know, it is something that is important to do because we're called on to support Israel and to support her people. So whether you're looking at it from a policy standpoint with this is our ally, or a biblical standpoint, you know, you do that. And of course, I think God calls on godly women to save his nation. So, and did that. Esther, Deborah, you know, the examples are all there.
And you're our Esther and Deborah for this hour.
Well, for House Res 11, yes. Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.